Okay, let's get started with accessories and modifiers. I'm going to show you a basic accessory that you want with any speedlight setup. This is an umbrella bracket. It has a hole right here for a shaft for an umbrella to go into and tighten down, and it has a piece right here you can adjust so that you can get it to assorted angles on a stand if you need to. I'll show you one of the things that I do with this when I use it every day just to get off-camera flash, but within arm's reach. Handle on it, just like that. And now I've got a lot of reach to where I want just to get angles handheld really quick with this unit. Just so you know, this piece that you see right here is a radio receiver that I have on there for when I want to do radio triggering and operate this as a dumb flash on manual power. One other thing that I'll show you that I have on here that's handy, I use this just about all day, every day. There's a little button right here that I have attached. That is for this little thing that goes on the belt. And now I can walk around, shoot whenever I need my flash handheld, just break it off the belt and use it. I'm going to talk about some of the features that are already built into most of your speed lights. A lot of them have zoom capability. That is, they can focus the beam of light coming out of the head of the flash. They can be set wide to cover the field of view of a wide-angle lens. And as you zoom the flash head, you actually can narrow down the beam to keep the light contained within the field of view of a medium to telephoto lens. The idea being not wasting light. You're wasting light, therefore operating the flash inefficiently and wasting batteries and unnecessarily heating it up. If you've got your lens set to a medium or a telephoto length, say 70 to 105, something like that, and you've got your flash head at 18 or 24, you're just shooting light out of the scene where your lens isn't even going to see it. Therefore, you're wasting power from your flash and you're wasting your batteries. So you want to keep that in mind, that you have that feature in most flashes, that the zoom can help you not waste light and save your batteries. Now, there is a piece built into these. There's a little diffuser panel. You don't want to have that in place when you're zooming your lens, because then your millimeter zoom that you're reading on the back panel of the lens is incorrect, because the idea of this is to spread the light wider than what the flash head is set to. This goes in place when you have the flash zoom at its widest angle setting, and you're using a lens that is wider than the widest angle that the flash can go to. If you've got a flash that will only spread the light to 18 or 16 millimeters, something like that, when you hit that point, you want to put this down. If you're using 14, 12, 10 millimeter lens and need to get some more light spread out into the scene, that is the point of this. Also, there's a little bounce card built into the flash. The purpose of this, in most cases, is so you're in a room like this, has a white ceiling, you want to have your flash set to bounce the light off the ceiling and give a soft spread of light on your subject, which is especially good if you're going to do paramount or butterfly lighting, which we'll talk about later. Bouncing off the ceiling is a great way to do that. But what you don't get if you have your flash up like this and doing that is a catch light in your subject eyes. This little piece right here will bounce just enough light back into the subject eyes to give them a catch light. And depending how close you are, it may give a little bit of fill in the eye sockets and under the nose. Another common accessory often comes with a speedlight when you buy it is Stoffin cup. Snaps right on top of the head of your speedlight, and it has a very specific purpose. And I see people misusing this accessory the most of any with their flashes. I see people all the time with their flash just like this, outside or in an extremely large room or something and shooting it like this. We talked about wasting light earlier. When you do that, you're wasting light. This is taking the light, and most of the light is still being beamed out through this right here, but a whole lot of light is being diffused out and around, not quite 360 degrees because it won't go down, but it is spread out in every direction from this. So if you're outdoors and you're trying to photograph a subject, you have your flash like this, like I see so many people doing, you're wasting most of your light shooting it up into the sky. You're wasting a whole lot of light coming out behind it and out to the sides that's probably doing nothing for you. And all you're getting is this little bit of light that is bounced and deflected through this panel out to your subject. Again, you're wasting light, you're wasting batteries. The purpose of this is for a situation like when you're in a room like I'm in right here, about this size. This can soften your light in a scene because the purpose of this is designed to spread your light all around so that you can bounce it off the ceiling, off the walls to the side, off the walls behind you. The idea of this is just to spread the light all around and get as much bounce as you can off the walls to give you some fill light from many different directions on your subject. This is an interesting little accessory that's a modified version of a stop and cup. This is just a little soft fabric piece with some elastic at the bottom, snaps on the flash head. It does a lot of the same thing. You get the light bouncing out of here, up through the top, around to the sides to bounce off the walls, etc. But you get a lot more light coming out of the front of this than you do with a stop and cup. And you're not wasting light behind you. The reason being, it's blacked out and it's reflective on the inside to bounce a lot of light through the forward and still get some out and around to the ceiling and the walls around you. This is more efficient in a lot of cases than the stop and cup. Now, when it comes to modifiers for your speedlights, you're going to open up a whole new world of possibilities if you're willing to get a couple of adapters that allow you to use studio type modifiers. There's a whole world of studio type modifiers out there that you can get, that you can use with your speedlight if you use, for the most part, one of two different adapters. Westcott has a proprietary ring, and a lot of their accessories, softboxes, etc., use ribs that poke into the various holes around the perimeter of this ring. There are holes spaced at all different various intervals around here that accommodate the different angles of the ribs of their various accessories. Flash head itself goes on a cold shoe and points through the opening, and then the modifier is mounted to this ring. That's a Westcott ring. One of the most common type of mounts is called a Bowen's S-mount. An S-mount accommodates accessories that have three little prongs on them that go into three slots, and then you give it a slight turn and it locks into place. They're just called an S-mount for short by most people in the business, and there is an incredibly wide array of accessories that you can get that go on an S-mount. This is a typical S-mount adapter for a speedlight. It's got an umbrella bracket on the bottom, lets you put it on a stand, adjust it wherever you need it to be for the angle, and it's got a little slot right there for an umbrella shaft to go in so that you can put an umbrella in front of this if you don't want to use an S-mount accessory. However, an S-mount accessory will go line up right in here, give it a little twist, and it locks in place. All S-mount adapters have some sort of a button or a lever on them right there that you pull back and it unlocks it to allow you to remove the accessory. But when you put it in, give it a little twist, it's locked. Your flash itself goes into this mount by means of a little clamping assembly right here. You just loosen it up, slide in your flash head, clamp it down, and you're good to go. One of the most basic accessories you'll want to use in a lighting setup is a bowl. This goes back to what we talked about keeping the light where you want it and not wasting the light by not having it go where you don't want it. The bowl simply concentrates the light into more of a beam and keeps it from spilling around a room where it's wasted, and can keep it concentrated on a subject or a background or an element where you want to keep the light concentrated. There are some things that will allow you to modify this bowl. This bowl will actually spread the light pretty far. I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Now, if you need to turn it into more of a spotlight effect than a widespread effect, there are honeycomb grids. And you'll see these have different size openings in the honeycomb. The widest opening translates to a wider spread, but yet narrower than you get with the bowl alone. You can get a medium, and you can get a really tight beam of light with the real fine grid. They simply snap into the bowl. A lot of them will have this tab, and if you make sure that you put the tab outward, there's a little compression spring here that just lets you slip it in. Once that's locked in, you can grab this little pull tab right here, and it makes it easy to remove it again. Okay, I'm going to use a continuous light here to show you some differences in the light patterns. This is just a bare light, no modifier at all. Here's the basic bowl that we talked about. I'm going to go ahead and pop that on here. This light has an S mount. You can see now we have a concentrated circle of light going on. Now I've got that wide honeycomb grid. We'll snap that into that bowl. Now you can see how much more concentrated that beam of light has become. Now I'll go ahead and show you that versus a medium honeycomb. You can see how much tighter that spot of light is. And this is that narrowest honeycomb that I showed you earlier. You can see how concentrated that beam of light is with that narrow spot. Now, picking up where this leaves off, if you need to get even tighter with your beam of light, there's this piece called a snoot. Again, this is an S mount. I'll pop off this bowl with the tight honeycomb grid on it. And now we've got the snoot going on. You can see that puts it even tighter. Now, there's even accessories for that. There is a piece right here that holds a honeycomb grid that you can put in the snoot. And now you can have that go even tighter if you need to, and be very concentrated where you put some light.